Hello, everyone, and I'd like to welcome you all to another chapter of the JavaScript beginners tutorial. So now we are on our chapter number 4, where I'll be showing you guys by downloading and installing VS Code. So we'll learn that how you will be able to install VS Code into your PC once you download that. So let's not waste time and let's get started. So over here on my screen, as you guys can see right now, I'm here in the home page of Google Chrome. Okay, so you guys can use any search engine. Let's say if you do want to use like Mozilla Firefox or Edge or anything as such. So whether it be any search engine, just come to the search bar right over here and make sure to type VS Code and just click on enter. Okay. So once you come over here, once you click on enter, you will have this Visual Studio Code website at first. Okay. So from there, you guys can just click onto that particular website. And from there, you guys can go to the download option. Otherwise, you guys can just click on the download option from here itself instead of coming over here. Okay. So as you guys can see, this is actually the home page of the Visual Studio Code. Okay. So now from here, let's click on to the download option right over here on the top right corner, as you guys can see. And after that comes this particular page. Okay. So this particular page right over here shows that are you using a Windows? So if you're using a Windows laptop, in that particular case, you can come here and you can just download the 64-bit version. Otherwise, if you are using a Linux, you guys can come here and download that. Otherwise, if you're using a MacBook or if you're using a Mac, you guys can come here and you guys can download it right from here itself. So let me just come here and let me just click onto this one. And you guys will be able to see that now already my download have been started. Okay, so over here you guys can see this is 64-bit. Okay, and the latest version is already getting downloaded for me right over here. And also it says that if you click on that particular link and if it's not getting downloaded like mine, you guys can come here and you guys can just click on to the direct download click. So for this one, you need to keep one thing in mind quite clear that when you're using VS Code, it already detects that what kind of PC that you're using and it downloads that particular version of file. Okay, so over here you don't need to specify, basically like you can if you're using a Windows, make sure to just click on that and it will download the desired file for you. Okay, so as you guys can see, my PC or my internet at this point of time is a bit slow, so I already do have downloaded VS Code for you. Okay, so let me just show you guys that. So let me just come here, let me just cancel this one. Let me pause and let me cancel this. And yeah, I hope you guys have got up a basic idea about how you will be able to download it from your Chrome. Just need to understand about few steps. So the first thing is go to your browser. Second step is write VS Code. Go to the first website which pops up on your search engine. Then from there, go to download and just download the directed link which is provided over here in the website. So now let me close this thing down from here. And now let's go to my downloads from my file manager. Okay, so let's go to downloads. And over here, you guys can see that I do have the VS Code user setup. Okay, So you guys can come here and you guys can just double click on this and this type of menu will basically pop up for you. Okay. So this type of menu will basically pop up. You guys can just read throughout. Otherwise, if you don't want to read those agreements, make sure to go to I accept the agreement and click on next. Okay. And after you click on next, here you guys can see that there are few other options. Like if you do want to select some additional task, for me, I will just click OK on all these four options, but I do want to create a desktop icon. Okay, so for that again, I will just click on next and let me click on install, which will just install my VS Code into my system. So it might take a bit for you to install this particular VS Code file. You guys can wait. And sometimes it totally depends the type of PC you're using, what is the configuration of your PC, how fast your PC works, what generation and stuff. A lot of things matters when you're installing any system over here. So as you guys can see, I am done installing my Visual Studio Code. Let me click on finish right now. And as you guys can see, automatically my VS code file is opening up. And so let me just close this thing down. I'll just click on don't save it. Let's go here. Let's open it up. And now let's close this thing over here. As you guys can see, this is how your home page of Visual Studio Code will look like. Okay, so this is how it will look like. So well, this was one way of opening your VS Code over here. Okay, but as we just have downloaded, it just opened up automatically. So if I just close this thing down, and if I just come here and if I just type VS Code, here you guys can see now I do have my Visual Studio Code application right over here. Okay, so I can just double click, otherwise I can just click on open and it will be opened right over here. But now let me show you guys up a different way of how you will be able to open up the Visual Studio Code and make a new folder in it. Okay, so just go to anywhere inside your PC. Let's say if I just come over here, I am in my D drive, and here in my D drive, you guys can see that I do have created this particular folder named JavaScript tutorial files. So you guys can just name any folder inside any anywhere inside your PC and just double click over here. And let's say over here, I want to open VS Code. Okay, so whatever file I'm gonna work or whatever file I'm going to work inside the VS Code, it will be saved into this JavaScript tutorial file folder. Okay, so if you do want to do that, make sure to go inside the folder where you do want to save all the files, right click. From here, click on show more options. And once you click on show more options, here you guys can see you do have this particular option known as open with code. Okay, so if you just click on open with code, you guys will be able to see that now on the left hand side over here. Now I will just click yes, I trust this author. And here on the left hand side, if I just click, you guys can see that I do have opened the JavaScript tutorial file folder. And from here, let me tell you that this particular option is to create up a new file. If you want to create up a new folder, you do have this particular icon. If you do want to refresh your Explorer, this is this option. And if you want to collapse folder in Explorer, you do have this particular option. So under JavaScript tutorial files, let me create up a new file. So I will just click on new file and over here, let me just create a basic HTML file. Okay. So let me just name that one as indexed.html. Okay, so I will just click on enter after that. And here you guys can see that I do have created this HTML file right over here. So I can do my coding. But before starting to code, as over here, I will show you guys how you can actually do the JavaScript coding or the programming inside your browser itself. Okay. So for that, now each and every HTML file, they do have a basic code. Okay, so they do already have a code inside. So I will show you guys that how you will be able to expose that whole code out. So over here, basically, I want you all to use the emit abbreviation. So come here and from here, use this emit abbreviations. Okay, and on your first line of code inside this index.html, you need to make sure that you do use this exclamation mark. And here you guys can see it's written emit abbreviation. And once you have entered that, make sure to click on enter. And over here, you guys can basically see that now you do have a line of code. Okay, so over here, you guys can see the doc type is an HTML file. They already do have their head. Okay. And also over here, if you do want to add something to their head, if you want to include things inside the body, which we're gonna work later. But firstly, let's come here and let's put out a title. Okay, so I will just tell this is my JavaScript beginners tutorial. Okay, so I will just set this particular name for the title. Okay, so as you guys can see that I already do have put out this title over here. So now once I am done putting out the title, let's come down and let's put out some body as well. Okay, so let me just type this down. Okay, so I will just put this one as H1. And what I'm gonna do is I'm going to write down over here and I will just type welcome you all. Okay, so as you guys can see, I do have written this particular thing inside the body as well. So now I want you guys to come here inside your extensions. Okay, and from this particular extension, I want you guys to search for live server. Okay, so I already do have the live server extension over here. So let me just click on this one. And what I can do is I will just click on install. And this particular live server will basically get uh, installed over here in my VS Code. So the work of this one is it basically launches a development local server with live reload feature for static and dynamic pages. Okay. So as I was already telling you guys that I want to basically work over here and show you guys the particular thing inside a server. Okay, so I'll just show you guys about that. And already you guys have seen that I just created this index.html file. And if you just take a look inside my file, let's come here. Let's increase the size to large icons. You guys can see that I do have created this indexed file. And you guys can see the document type is an HTML file. Let's come here. Let's close this thing down and I'll just wait for it to install me this live server. Okay, so it totally depends on the speed of your internet connection. So I will look back once I'm done installing this live server extension from VS Code. So over here, as you guys can see, now I'm done downloading this live server. Okay. So now let me show you guys the usage of using this live server, because if I just want to come here and let me just come to my code, let me just right click anywhere, and if I just click that open with live server, okay, let me just click on allow, okay, and here on my screen, you guys can see it will show me on the server which I'm basically working on. Okay, so here you guys can see on top that I do have the title, which is this is my JavaScript beginners tutorial. Okay, so if you do want to change it, and also let's come here, welcome you all. If I do want to change it at the same time, I also can come here. Let's go back again into my JavaScript. And from here, let me just change the title to JavaScript beginners tutorial. And from here, welcome you all to my class. Okay. So if I come here and again right click, let's click on open with live server. You guys can see in lifetime, it will show you guys the changes which you have made inside your website. Okay. So you guys can see the title have changed, and also over here, you guys can see that the body or the content inside the title which I have changed as well. Okay, so I hope you guys to have understood how you'll be able to download and install VS Code, how to download this live server from VS Code as well, what is its usage, how you will be able to get the emit extension over here inside your HTML page. Okay, so I hope to see you all in the next chapter, where we're gonna learn more about writing your code or writing JavaScript inside VS Code. Okay, because you guys can see that I already have this HTML file. So you guys might be thinking, well, we do have this particular HTML file, but where are we going to write our JavaScript? So we're gonna learn about that in detail into our next class. So I hope to see you all in the next chapter. Till then, take care and goodbye, everyone.